All right, it's Wednesday, May 29th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today on the daily chart, we end up with a two down, bit of a green day. It also has a bit of a shooter bar look to it that could project lower, but yesterday had a hammer bar to it that looked like it might project higher, and instead price gap down. So again, we come back to the bigger picture where we knew coming into the week we're stuck inside a big trading range. And this range started way back here, and it's been going on days. Big three bar here that didn't fall through lower, and we immediately gapped up, and that got us stuck in the middle of the range to start the week. Yesterday, we tried to go down a little bit, couldn't get to the bottom of the range and closed a little higher or near the open. And then today, we didn't follow through higher. Opening price action between the blue lines, gapped down a little bit, but immediately didn't break out of the range to the downside, and yet didn't really come back up through the middle of the range, yesterday's midpoint either. So obviously you could see this would be kind of a tricky day in terms of well, not necessarily a tricky day, but a day that didn't offer much opportunity. It was actually a pretty clear day in terms of what to do, and you didn't get hurt too much, which is always the good news in this tricky environment that you're trading in a range. So if we just quickly go to the 15-minute chart, between the blue lines was the pre-market range. You have that range in place. So we were gapping down here near the bottom of it, and right out of the gates, we had the red bar that if it wanted to break through lower would have followed through on bar 2. It didn't do that. It came up on bar number 2 instead. So I actually bought calls here. I shot a video describing how this could be a 2-down failure at the bottom of a range. And normally I don't take trades, below the midpoint of a prior day, but I know the big picture is in this big range in here, and this is the bottom of the range that looked like it failed at the open. So I figured I'll give it a shot to the upside. I think that made sense. I then shot a video how we reached kind of a pivot target here, and this could be tricky because we're moving up really kind of slowly, and didn't quite get to the midpoint of the prior day on any strong move up. And I said, this is an opportunity to kind of be careful. You're not going to get hurt too much, but it was kind of tricky to know, are you really going to reverse to the upside, or might it kind of just pause here and eventually try to take out the lows of the day? Well, it came down on one bar, then it paused for a few bars, then it came up, and then you could see it stayed in that area the entire day. It didn't do anything. So buying calls here, looking for that upward reversal, and yet not getting it, it means you didn't get hurt, but you didn't have, there was not much opportunity to do anything either, according to the way I view the 15-minute structure. And we actually end up kind of near the lows of the day. And then going into tomorrow, for example, I see after hours, Salesforce had a very negative reaction to earnings, down pretty big, and that might have influence going into tomorrow with the overall market. Again, if you look at this bar, it looks like a bit of a shooter bar. If we stay below the midpoint and break down, we're going to see if we get a downward move here, which should kind of hit this target. I think now, looking at this, knowing that we've had 2 days that couldn't go up, looks like we want to take out that liquidity. That becomes kind of a chain reaction to get a 2-down week, which then projects down maybe to the 520 area as a next target. So it looks like after this pause week, which I still think overall in the big picture is just some kind of a pause area to eventually move higher, it looks like we might want to come down and have maybe a red bar for a week or two or whatever and if that red bar happens on the weekly chart, then we have to wait for a weekly reversal to the upside to get back in sync with the buy side. But we'll see if that happens. It's still uncertain yet. We're still inside of last week. Anything's possible. We can gap down tomorrow and immediately start up because we know we're in this range. So it's still going to be a matter how opening price action evolves relative to this trading range. It could try to break out and immediately fail, which would be, I think this time maybe a stronger signal than today if we come down and fail, or it can break out and continue lower, and we do have some pivot machine gun kind of targets down here to hit, and maybe we get a bit of a red week. So we have the reference point of the open of the week here now, which is red. So in order to get any kind of buy, I'm gonna say either come down here tomorrow and fail and start up, or start immediately above the midpoint of this day on a 2-up day, and then we'll see if we get through the open of the week, which is right here, and then that can get that weekly chart, back to the top of the range. So it's still a matter of just kind of being inside of a trading range and just seeing, just as long as we don't get hurt, I think it's fine. And eventually I still think there'll be something clear that will unfold, and ultimately, even if we, and we could have a good little move down, maybe to shake out some longs that have been buying, and that could be good trading to the downside. And I think ultimately there'll still be a reversal to the upside. But today was one possibility of it. It didn't really materialize, and you didn't get hurt, which is good. It looks like it might want to go lower, but yesterday looked like it might want to go higher. So you just got to always go day by day, see what happens, keep this trading range in mind. That's what it is right in here. And let's see if we break out lower. If not, then, maybe we'll see by the end of the week if we head higher. But you kind of know the reference points now, both on, the grouping of daily charts, which is the pre-market range, and now this weekly chart. We get to see if we get a 2-down week, which could project lower, either for 1 week or a couple of weeks if it should do that. So let's see what unfolds tomorrow. Today is just what it was, kind of a tricky day inside a trading range, kind of like yesterday. So, but we knew that coming into the week. So let's just see how the week finishes up with 2 more days to go.